I know that as I say something like, it's difficult to, it's really difficult for a Christian to follow Trump, given the fact, like you take up the Madison Square Garden example, and you take how their A-listers, see what I did there? How their A-listers came with their best game, right? They offered their best game. They gave their best speeches. They gave their best jokes. They gave their best advice. They came with their best material for the crowd because Madison Square Garden is that iconic show that everybody wishes they could have. And I know somebody out there invariably in a video will say, yes, we understand that this is, that Trump is broken, or that Trump says bad things, or that Trump lies. We understand that, but Democrats kill. Now there was a comment that I wanted to share with you, and it's this one. I think maybe the guy's caps button is locked. No right-leaning son. It's pro-life. Get that through your head. It's about babies being born rather than aborted. Now, I haven't done a talk on pro-choice or pro-life. I haven't done a talk on abortion in a long time. A dedicated talk to it. It's come up from time to time, but I haven't really broached the subject. And so I'm going to do that again here. Because what this person's saying, is that Democrats are for abortion, and therefore we must be against Democrats. It doesn't matter. You could put a platypus up against Kamala Harris, and we're going to vote for the platypus. You could put Satan himself up against Kamala Harris, and we're going to vote for Satan, because Satan promises to get rid of abortion. Satan promises to restrict a woman's rights to reproductive health care. Okay, so I thought today I'd just take a minute and we talk about that big A word. And I'll talk to you a little bit again about why I am pro-choice and why I think Christians are wasting their time. I know Jesus saying this is going to get me in trouble. Why I think Christians, we're wasting our time and our energy worrying about the procedure. Okay? The first thing I want to make mention is that abortion isn't always about birth control. It's not always about the termination of a pregnancy because a person doesn't want the pregnancy. However, what we're seeing in a lot of red states since Roe versus Wade was overturned is that states are writing laws as though that is the only reason anybody would get an abortion. And they're putting really, really strict measures in place that stops people from getting the health care that they need, to the extent that we are seeing women die because of it. We're seeing women suffer because of these restrictions that have been put in place, because doctors do not want to broach the subject. They don't want to. They're afraid of treating people the way that they have been taught, the way they've been trained, the way that the person needs to be treated. So the very first thing I would say, when it comes from a Christian perspective, you need to understand that it's not always about just simply terminating a pregnancy because I don't want to be pregnant. Sometimes, a lot of times, women have to have this procedure despite the fact that they desperately want the child. They want to be pregnant. They want to give birth. They want to start a family. They want to add to their family. There are women out there who need to have this procedure sometimes, because if they don't, it's going to keep them from having children in the future, possibly keep them from having children in the future. They have to have this because they don't want their family to grow up without them, because without the procedure, they might not be around, as was the case with that woman in Georgia. Now, that's just the first. So one of the reasons we lump it all together, because we're trying to legislate an end to it, we lump it all together. We lump every reason that a person could possibly need an abortion together, and now nobody can get the care they need, which is, for what it's worth, exactly what people warned us would happen when Roe versus Wade was overturned. But coming back to that comment, and I know this isn't how the person who wrote it meant it, but this is how it irks me a little bit. No right-leaning son. It's pro-life, get that through your head. It's about babies being born rather than aborted. If as a Christian, I want to reduce the number of abortions. I really want to reduce the number of abortions, and not the medical needed ones, the medical required ones, but rather the ones where people say, I just don't want to be pregnant. If I want to really, truly, genuinely do that, I'm not going to do it through legislation, because the numbers won't actually go down all that much. I may discourage a few people, but it won't work. If I really, genuinely want to do that, I will focus my time and my energy working on the things that make abortion feel necessary, feel like an option. So what I mean by that is, I guess I don't see this as a problem as much as a symptom of a series of problems, a symptom of a compilation of problems. Poverty, education, a living wage. What am I going to do after the child is born? So if you really want to, if the Christians out there really want to be involved, really want to make this a thing of the past, then what I would encourage you to do is ask yourselves, why is this an option? Why is it that people feel this is the only option? And then tackle those issues. Again, poverty is a big one. People's careers getting started, healthcare, childcare is a big one, education's a big one. Like, there's lots of reasons here that we can actually legislate solutions for. There's a lot of things we can do that will help reduce that number. Right? My Christian life is not about that issue. But if I actually live this Christian life, and again, this is where I know nobody would say, well, that's not all being a Christian's about. But if I spend my life as a Christian focused on that issue, yeah, sure, maybe I will reduce the numbers. Okay, but I won't help in any of those other things. Any of those other things like that we know contribute to those numbers going up. I won't be doing anything to reduce those things. I'll just be putting legislation in place that make it illegal. I'll put legislation in place that will punish people, and hope that punishment is enough of a deterrent that they don't do it. But if I focus on doing the things that Jesus actually tells me I'm supposed to focus on, if I actually focus my time and my energy on taking care of the people that Jesus tells me to take care of in the ways that Jesus tells me to take care of, those numbers will go down. Yeah, they will. I'll be taking care of the real problem. I'll be taking care of the real issues. And as I take care of the real issues, that will become less and less a thing that feels like the only alternative. If we're living this life as Jesus tells us to live this life, we're taking care of the people that Jesus tells us to take care of. We're taking care of them in the ways that Jesus tells us to take care of them. The world's going to be a better place, right? Like, if nothing else happens, you're going to make the world a better place. I'll be ridding the world of the barriers, the hurdles that so many would see as a reason to not go ahead with the pregnancy. For what it's worth, one of the two parties in the U.S. who's running, right now for the president, only one of those two parties actually is seeking to put policies in place that would tackle so many of those issues. And oddly enough, that party is also the one who is pro-choice. I find it ironic that the party who is pro-choice, and therefore the one who is pro-murder in the eyes of so many people, are actually the same ones who are pro-taking care of people. pro-living wage, pro-education, pro-healthcare, pro-childcare. That party, that pro-choice party, is also the ones who are working, whose policies will work to reduce so many of the reasons why women may choose to have this procedures to terminate a pregnancy. Isn't that interesting? The side that is pro-life, well, they seem to believe that all those issues that add to a person feeling as though they need to have this procedure, they're completely okay with those things staying in place, and as a matter of fact would blame the people for experiencing the hardships in the first place. Anyhow, amen.